What is going on, everybody? Hope you are having a good week so far. Before we start, please hit subscribe. Please review the podcast after you've done. Give us a little comment in the comment section, whatever you're listening on. If you have any ideas of guests, please DM me. Please do all of that. It's all very helpful to keep the podcast going. This week on the podcast, the one and only AMÉMÉ. I came across his stuff probably about a year ago. And was really intrigued with what he is doing, and I was really into the music that he's writing. I briefly bumped into him at a festival, I think in Florida at some point. Seemed like a really nice dude. And I've been watching his career from the peripheries and just kind of watching his profile grow bigger and bigger. And I really think he's going to be one of the next big guys come through. His work ethic is amazing, and I wanted to get him on the podcast and have a conversation, and I loved it. So, without further ado, AMÉMÉ. AMÉMÉ, what's cooking?
My brother, man, look at you. You're on time. I was like, man, I'm going to get there before this guy.
No
and then
way.
I'm like, oh.
No way. No way, man.
I love it, man. Where are you right now?
I'm in Detroit. Whereabouts are you?
Oh, I'm in Berlin. What are you doing in Detroit?
I live here.
Oh,
yeah.
You live in Detroit. Wow. Okay,
yeah,
that's quite interesting. That's like, it's been a while that I heard someone saying I live in Detroit, you know?
I know. It's everyone always says this. Everyone's like, why did you move to Detroit? Every time. like even when I come to Detroit and I'm in Detroit and like I talk to somebody or see somebody in the street, and obviously I'm English, and they're like, oh, what are you here for? Are you here for business? What are you doing? And I was like, I live here. And they're like, why the fuck do you live in Detroit? Every time.
So why the fuck you live in Detroit?
Cut a very long story short. So I don't know how much you know about my career, but my first like real break into like a touring DJ was with the record label Dirty Bird.
I see.
So I was touring in America and had a fan base in America before I did anywhere else in the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So what I would do is I'd come over here for like 4 months of touring, just like straight touring. And I would always like rent an apartment or something whilst during that 4 months, because I didn't want to stay in hotels. Obviously, you know how it is when you first start touring, you don't earn any money at all. You're losing money. So it's like, it's that kind of whole process of, okay, how can I save money and like also have a bit of a life during the touring? So my first city was LA that I went to. Of course, everyone always goes to LA first time.
But it's like, it's so pricey. It's like, it's difficult to build anything in LA, you know?
Yeah, and I was young. I was 24 at the time, I think. So I was pretty young, and I just wasn't a fan of it. It wasn't really for me. And then I did New York. Yeah. And I love New York. Like, New York's my favorite place in the world. Like, I love that city. And then I got to the point where I was touring so much in America that I needed a full-time place. I needed to be here full-time. And I really didn't want to spend like $4,000 a month on rent, when you know how it is, as much as
you know, and I feel you, right? And dude, I think every single DJ kind of like has like gone through that process, right? That thought process. And by the way, you know, I told you that I'm in Berlin, and that's also, it's the same thing.
Exactly.
You see what I mean? Because like, obviously, you know, I'm spending the next 3-4 months in Europe, but then I had to decide, okay, like, where would I want to be from like Monday to like Wednesday or Thursday every weekend, right? And obviously, like, one of the main reasons was because Berlin is financially, you know, manageable. You know, rent is very cheap, like, you know, cost of living is very, you know, affordable. But obviously, like, you know, Berlin being an artistic city where there's a lot like musically going on, and but like, obviously, one of the first reasons was because I'm like, yo, like, you know what, rent is cheap in Berlin, so like,
totally, man.
Let me check that.
Totally. Could you imagine doing that in London?
No way, because I'm like good, like I'm gone most of the time. Like I just need a place where I'm comfortable, where I could like, I could go back to and like obviously save money and stuff like that. So yeah, man, I can't like I would never be able to do this in London or
No.
like some of the major cities. And I mean right now, so I've lived in New York for 16 years,
Oh wow.
Yeah, so like I went to school in New York and all
I
the
did
stuff
not
like
know
that.
that.
Yeah, dude, like New York, like I studied DJing in New York.
Yeah.
So it's like I was like, One Tribe started in New
Yeah.
York. So, but like right now, like my family is still in New York, and I was able to kind of like find a structure for myself where like when I'm home, I'm spending time with my family. So I feel like we actually kind of got like a family place.
Yeah, I love that.
And because like I don't get to see my mom on the road. I don't get to see my brother on the road. So it's
Yeah.
like when I'm home, I'm with my family, recharge, good food, good vibes, and then like I'm out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, it's better than like paying for like a full-on apartment in New York, which I'm like, God no,
Yeah.
But it's like okay, it's a family home. Everybody's kind of like doing his part, and it's great. So it's like it's working out right now because Berlin, New York, but New York because I'm able to create that space with my family where I'm winning, where I could see them, but then also I'm not just the only one kind of like, managing it. You know what I'm saying?
Totally,
So,
man. I get it. And I think the thing is like, it's really easy to look at all of our social medias from an outsider's point of view and go, these guys are making so much money. And it's like, don't get me wrong. We and this is not me complaining at all. Like I love what we do.
yeah.
But everybody else gets paid before us. Everybody.
Like, also like, I think what people tend to underestimate is what it takes to run like okay, I take Will Clarke, right? What it takes to run Will Clarke's operation from like January to December, man. It's like there's so many different moving parts that come along with it, right? You're talking about agency management, obviously, if you decide if you are PR or not, like obviously, like you have to go in the studio, you got to make music, like mastering cost here. It's like there's a cost for everything, you know what I mean? And then now you're thinking about social media on it, like you got to do like a videographer here, like you go for a good. It's so. Man, like we have to invest. There's a lot of like if you don't have that and like investing mentality where like you're like, listen, I need to invest to grow.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And that's exactly how like I think some of us are. A lot of us are running like this. Where like obviously like as we're going, there's always things coming along the way, and obviously you gotta look into the future, be like, okay, here's where I'm going, but all right, here, there. So it adds up.
And yeah, I totally agree. And I think also it sounds really awful to talk about us like this, but we're products. And the product has to have a demand to be worth something. And
True.
I was with somebody the other day that's just starting into the music career and will have a very successful music career, but they said like, when can I up my fees? And I was like, when you start selling tickets.
Supply and demand.
Yeah, literally.
Bro, supply and demand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's technically, that's why it's like, man, at the end it's I mean, obviously you have DJs that are like attracting different type of clientele, right?
Of course.
Music based on like whatever like territory they're covering or whatever label they're associated with and stuff like this. And some DJs are like stronger with like ticket sales, and some DJs are like, like I'll say, I mean, sometimes you go to certain showcases and you see, oh wow, the VIP area is very stacked up.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then some of very few really get to like have both.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Totally.
But to your point, you get sales at the end.
I'm just going to go back to what we're talking about. Yeah, and I think it's also what people see is they see our streams doing really well and like, oh, you've got millions of streams, and then don't realize how little money there is in the music side of things. So it's like from an outsider's point of view, we all show this facade of what music life is, and we're touring the world, and yes, we have the fucking best life in the world, like hands down the best job anyone can ever do, and I'm not complaining about this.
No,
but on
sure.
the outside of that is there's a business side of things, and we are the ones that always eat last. Everyone else has to eat.
You see what I'm saying? So I mean, listen, I you know, I mean, that's also one of the reasons why, like, early enough, I knew that, like, I needed to have my own label. I knew that, like, I wanted to do, like, my own showcases.
Yeah.
I knew that I wanted to kind of have a little bit more control in terms of, like, creating my own space and being a decision maker.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But funny enough, that very specific thing, which is like the music label or doing the showcase, came from the fact that I could not even get gigs in New York at some point when I started, because people were like, "Oh no, your sound is a bit too drummy, bro. Like, we can't do this, you know, like whatever." And bro, like, it was difficult because, you know, like, obviously back in the days, like, you know, the whole Afro thing, you know, it was you know, it was good for the listening, but a lot of people didn't really, like, a lot of promoters were not really sure if that could be actually something that they, you know, that could hold a stage, you know, or like a moving stage, you know. And so just to survive, I had to, like, you know, play at, like, you know, shitty bars here, there, Thursday here, hotel lobby. Man, listen, from time to time, I still go back to New York and say hi to my homies from the hotel, you know. And like, yo, what up, bro? You know, like, no, because, bro, like, this is part of my journey, you know, because, and I wanted this, and I was like, yo, no, like, I'm gonna do this meanwhile, but I have to figure something out. And like, in New York, one of the moments where, like, I made a major step on the scene was because of House of Yes. You know? And man, I'm forever grateful to House of Yes until today. Like Ilan, like Anya, all these people, like they're my people, because they've seen me from the, you know, like,
from the get-go.
From exactly, you know, from the get-go. And yo, like, I literally just walked into House of Yes one Wednesday, bro. Like, because, dude, like, I remember I was playing at this hotel lobby every Saturday, and I had, like, this very shitty bar, like, in the Lower East Side somewhere, like, on Thursdays. But I knew that, okay, this is how I pay my rent, you know. But, you know, because I was, you know, trying to make music here, network there, and whatever. So, but, like, but I was trying to play at places like Gospel, Output, those places like this. But then I was like, guys, no, sorry, but this sound, like, we don't need that, you know. So I just walked into House of Yes one Wednesday, and there was a guy sitting there. I just go to him, like, bro, man, listen, my name is Ameme. I think you definitely want me to play here. Like, you know, I mean, House of Yes is one of my favorite places in the world, like, whatever. He's like, yo, just send me your mix so I could listen to it. And he was very polite. I sent it to him. A week, 2 weeks, I don't hear anything. So I was like, fuck. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go back. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go back on a Wednesday at the same time. I get back there on a Wednesday. The guy is sitting there at the same place. And I was like, gotcha. And I was like, okay, there you go. Hey, what's up? And I sent you the song, like, the mix, like, what happened? And he was like, oh, man, you're so annoying, persistent. I was like, okay. And then, okay, give me a second. He goes into his office, comes back. He's like, actually, the mix is not bad. All right. Steven, he called. So Steven used to be the booker back then. And he's like, Steven, do we have any opener for Saturday yet? And Steven's like, no, we don't. He's like, okay, are you free on Saturday? All right. Of course I'm free on Saturday. I'm like, okay, you open in the room on Saturday.
Amazing.
So that was just that. And dude, like, funny enough, I was supposed to play for like 2 hours, and I ended up playing the whole night in the small room.
Wow.
And I don't want to call the name of the DJ because, like, there was a bigger DJ that's still on the scene now that was playing in the big room, because I was playing in, at the small entrance room. And usually they close the small room at 2 a.m. and everybody goes into the big room. Yeah. And funny enough, around 1:30, everybody was in the small room. There were, like, more people. It just became such a cluster trust her. And they came to me like, yo, do you want to close the room? And like, hell yeah. So I crushed it that day. And man, funny enough, I still remember until today, Ilan, the owner, the guy that booked me, the next day, he sent an email to the booker forgetting that I was actually CC'd on it. He's like, yo, this kid AMÉMÉ is good, huh? Yo, let's book him more. On top of that, he's really cheap. Let's book him more. He completely forgot that I was CC'd on the email. But it's funny enough because that's how our relationship started. Yeah. And because I started playing more and more as of yes, more places in New York, like, oh, okay, this kid is doing stuff. Okay, yeah, you want to play here? And then that's how I started to like, make a name for myself and like on the ground scene. But they helped me get that credibility that I already knew that I had for a while, but nobody really gave me a chance to actually express it, So.
Well, I think also House of Yes back then, I'll be honest, I don't really pay much attention to what they do now, but back then House of Yes were always the left of the left of New York in the club scene. They would always do really weird and wonderful parties, and it's always like, oh yeah, of course that's a House of Yes. Like, of course it's the fucking crazy party going on down there.
Yeah, I used to, but I mean, but funny enough, yeah, they used to push the boundaries.
Yeah.
But when you think about, there's a lot of major names that went through that place.
Of course, it was huge.
Like back then, you know what I mean? So, like, I mean, I remember like the first time when one of my friends brought me there, I just loved it. I'm like, man, this place is crazy.
Yeah.
But I loved it because it was just like open. Everybody was, it's like obviously like big place for diversity and stuff like that. And yeah, man. So, and even One Tribe, bro. Like I get like same story with One Tribe. I was like, okay, guys. So I had an idea. I was like, man, I looked at them like, these guys, they're always doing very interesting parties. This would be the perfect place to start my own night, right? Like kind of African vibes, whatever. Like, and I go to the owner, I'm like, yo, what's up, bro? Like, you need to give me a shot so I can do my own party. He's like, bro, good luck, man. We're busy, man. Until today, I even remember what he said. He's like, yo, man, I could put Spotify on, man. I'm going to sell out this place, And he's like, what, you want me to pay you extra to do your party? Come on, bro, just give me a Sunday. He's like, are you sure? Because Sundays don't sell out here because Friday, Saturdays are huge. So people are tired on Sunday. I'm like, yo, give me a shot. That's exactly what I did. I took 2 months. I got every single body that I knew in New York. I was like, yo, guys, we're doing the launch of my party. That shit needs to be crazy. So obviously, like, we brought in the whole fashion aspect of it. Me and my sister, we started working on like, One Tribe apparel, the whole visual identity, like, performance, activation, and all that stuff like that. And dude, like the first event we did was a killer.
Yeah.
And that was on a Sunday. And then he called me, he's like, yo, bro, I think next time we should do it on Saturday. I was like, so yeah, man.
But I think is a really interesting thing because there's always a start to everyone's careers, right? And there's always a moment where there's the switch just switches in everyone's career, and we all have that moment. But that moment isn't created by just luck. It's created by fucking hard work. It's hard work, man.
Yo, and just to add a little bit to it, right? Yo, I mean, I don't know how you feel, but it's like for me, it's like when I remember. So I moved to America when I was 17. Okay, and I went to school. I was always into music, DJing, partying, meeting people, meeting promoters, meeting everybody. Deciding that I wanted to DJ, playing out, grinding around, and then started playing better shows. Okay, deciding to like finally play outside America, but obviously nobody knew me. Okay, I'll sleep on your couch to play the show. All right, I'll play for free, whatever. Like I'll do this, and then slowly moving around, and then like there's a time, they're like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna move to Berlin because I need to learn how to produce better.
Yeah,
and there's no money in Berlin, right? No show, broke for years, like trying to put things together, sleeping on French couches. And yeah, like 3 years ago, obviously, like been playing consistently, trying to go around, come back to New York, play here, play there, doing all my bookings, my everything, my own management. And then 3 years ago, I'm in Tulum and I play with Black Coffee, and then everybody just kind of like, and then people look around, they're like, oh yeah, this is the new DJ. You know what I'm saying? Like, and no, dude, like it's like 10 years of like every single thing. When I look at it, every single thing that I did, every decisions that I took within the last 10 years got me ready for that moment. 3 years ago. Every shitty shows, every single promoters I worked with, everybody that I shook hands with, every couch that I slept on, the lesson that I learned from it, just also the mental, just being ready for like touring, bro. Yeah, you know it, bro. Touring is like, it looks fancy online, but bro, it's heavy.
Yeah.
And just the grunt, like sleeping on couches here, bro. Now I'm sitting in a nice hotel, like, whatever, I get a massage in the morning, I'm like, that's easy work,
Yeah.
So, like, man, so I say, luck, it's like you just gotta be prepared.
Yeah.
When the time comes, right? You gotta be prepared. You gotta know your music. You gotta discover yourself. You have to work on all the little part of yourself that need improvement. You have to, as you say, be a product. You have to know what product you want to be, so that when the lights are moving around and then just stops on you like this, you're like, hey, I'm there. And that's what people think is luck, man. It's not. It's preparation, man. Preparation and timing. Luck. That's what people say. So that's why, like, man, I am always like, and people are always like, man, can you chill a little bit? I'm like, no, because like I'm not chilling, because I don't know when the lights is gonna come back again, because bro, there are always levels to this stuff.
This is the thing.
I'm always getting ready for the next, like, I'm like, and they're like, yo, bro, why do you have to be always in the studio? I'm like, bro, because guess what? I'm not gonna wait for a dope ass label to come to me and be like, yo, do you have a track for us? No, I'm working consistently on tracks, because when people come to me and I'm having those conversations, I'm like, I'm prepared.
Yeah.
I'm prepared. I'm like, okay, guys, here's what's going on here. And I make better decisions. So I don't run around going around. So I always try to be ahead. That's, for me, that's always been like a motto. And I make sure that people around me remind me of it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I think that like I've always said, and people that listen to this podcast regularly will probably sound like I'm a broken record, but there is a level of luck to this industry that you have to have. And you could still be doing that same thing over and over and over and over and again. But the difference is some people would give up. I have so many friends that I started DJing with, so many started DJing, producing with, and they just gave up. And I understand. That's not me saying that I'm better than them or worse than whatever. Like that's their life. That's the path they chose. But we just kept going. We're like that annoying dog that just keeps barking. and until you get that point, and it's a conversation I've been having a lot with my manager. I'd like to get your thoughts on it, because it's like there's levels, like you were saying, there's levels where we're at. You and I have a reasonably successful career. Are we Black Coffee? No.
Exactly. Exactly. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing I always say to my manager, and he's with it as well. But it's like there's days where you're like, for me anyway, there's days where I'm like, what the fuck am I doing this for? Like, why? Like, where does the end go?
It's going.
Yeah, where is it going?
Yeah, exactly.
How do you kind of come through those days?
Okay, so man, that's a great question. The reason why is because I'm sure that just like me, but I can tell that you're a very analytical person already, right? And for a long time, I've always been this guy where I just keep going, and I'm really good at like taking in traumas and situation. I'm like, I'm on. And then I remember the other day, someone told me, dude, you need to speak to a therapist. You know, like, because, people meet me and people are like, oh man, this guy is like, he's such a bubbly guy, like, he's always so, oh, he's friendly. But bro, like, the reality is that, there's the like life, like when you go through life, there's positive energy. You have experiences that you learn from that are a bit more traumatic, but all those traumas, they go somewhere. No matter how you try to show it to the world that you're like the nicest guy, a positive guy, you're going to have one bad day, and it's going to come out.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? So I was always this guy where like I was just going, and like it was always like, okay, good man, good vibes. But bro, I had to realize that no, bro, like sometimes you have to face your demon, and like when it hurts, you have to own it,
Yeah.
And because I realized that like this industry is so competitive. And sometimes I could say that like sometimes it's a little unhealthy how competitive this is.
Yeah.
Because it's a non-stop train that is going. And if you don't take it, there's 20,000 other people that will be ready to take it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you might be on a strike of like shows, releases. And then you look around, you look at your peers, like everybody's kind of doing the same thing. Everybody's going at it. Because everybody wants to be, as we said it, there are levels, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's like, yeah, I'm like, so who's going to be the next level, right? And I used to be this guy that was always going at it. And one day, I tell you something, Brent, I never thought that like I would ever question myself and be like, yo, like where is all this going? You know what I'm saying? Like, because I was young. I felt like I was like invincible. I could go forever. Like, yo, that's it. Like full on energy, man. And I was like, and I looked at it and I'm like, wow. Because bro, sometimes, dude, you have the best show, like a crazy show. You look at the videos, like, damn, I crushed it. Oh, like next track. Oh, my next track is coming out. Man, this is gonna be a banger, man. Like, the reaction is crazy, like whatever. Bro, next week, bro, the track goes out. Okay, top whatever 10. The following week, 100 other track comes out. Okay, next, my friend. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And totally. It's like, and nowadays things go even quicker, right? Because the whole Instagram and social media era, like things are so fast.
Yeah.
So for me, I tell you something, I had to detach myself. Like I had to detach myself mentally from my controlling self. You see, because I was always kind of like going at it like, dude, I come from a finance background, right? I'm a meticulous, analytical, crazy mind, right? Yeah. I measure everything. Yeah. I'm always like on it. And for me to tell you this, dude, like that was the biggest thing I did for myself because, and you know it, bro. There are levels to these things. Once, like when you're going through levels, and then at some point it goes faster, and then it slows down.
Yep.
It slows down.
Yep.
And then you're like, okay, what's next?
Yep.
When is it coming? I'm waiting for it. I think I'm ready for it, but then it's not coming. But then you're still doing good. You're still doing good. But it's just the way things are. And I have like, yo, you know what? I need to go back. I had to find my own original, genuine love for the music, for the dance culture. And I was like, you know what? I'm still gonna keep my energy high up. I'm gonna keep the expectations that I have for myself high up.
Yeah.
It means that I'm gonna always try to be ahead of myself. But yo, I'm just gonna be like a blinder. You see the horses? Yes, I'm running against myself at this point.
Yeah. And I think that's
sorry, go ahead.
I think it's a really amazing piece of advice for a lot of people. And it took me years to get there. Like, it took me so long to get to that point in my career where it actually took COVID to happen for me. During COVID, it happened for me, where I was like, wow, we're actually all the fucking same. We're all trying to do the same thing. But I realized during COVID and coming out of COVID that there's space for everybody. And no matter how big your record is, there's always going to be somebody with a bigger record. No matter
100%.
No matter how small your record is, there's going to be somebody with a smaller record than you. No matter how big your gig was, there's going to be somebody that's selling more tickets than you. And that's when I realized, okay, I really just have to try and concentrate on myself. And I'll be honest with you, this week for me, like when this podcast comes out, it's not going to be this week, but when this week right now, like, has actually been like a really tough time for me, because I've kind of lost that, where I like not compare myself to others, but like, I'm like, why is this not happening? Why is this not happening? Why is that not working? And it's me trying to control everything in this industry. And then realistically not evaluating, not looking at myself and going, I can't control any of this. All of this is out of my fucking power. And what's the point of me even worrying about that? Let's just write good music. Let's play good shows and let's just enjoy it.
Dude, you said it. By the way, just to come back on the fact that you said that this week was challenging, and bro, I feel you, because I'm telling you that, like, oh yeah, I focus on myself. I'm this horse. Bro, I'm just trying. You can only try.
Of course.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, we're human. We are competitive beings. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there is the attempt side and there's also the result.
Yeah.
So you can try as much as you want. Dude, you're gonna be on social media, you're gonna, like, you see your peers, like, and it's normal. And by the way, but a little bit of competition is also not a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? It's all about how you canalize, or like how you take that energy and where you put it. And I love a little bit of competition. I'm a very competitive human being at the end. But I think what's unhealthy is if you just get lost in the sauce of competition, trying to like outrun everybody, and you're just gonna exhaust yourself. But at the end of the day, dude, I think we all have these moments.
Totally.
We've all have this moment where we're like, oh man, you look around, you're like, damn man. And like, listen, I'm genuinely happy for like all my peers. Like, as you said, there's enough. Like, the cake is big enough for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, everybody got it. Like, and I enjoy that. Like, I'm always like trying to, like, anybody I can get on, like, I can help, I can give advice to. Like, I'm always having conversation with a lot of my peers, just random conversations on the phone for hours. At the same time, we are human beings.
Of course.
And you will be challenged by your own self at times. And I think it's all about you looking at the mirror and be like, all right, that was a great challenge. Now back to myself.
Yeah.
And I think there is a power in feeling the competition, feeling like, okay, I see what's going on. But then going back into yourself, where like you take that energy and you're competing against yourself. You're like, okay, here's where I was yesterday. Tomorrow, I just have to be better than where I was yesterday. And if I'm not, then it's fine. I will learn something out of it, and I will be on my journey of being better.
Yeah.
And honestly, just that mindset really helped me out a lot.
No, I totally agree with you, man. How much does that mindset change when you've spent all day in the studio and you've completed a new record and you're absolutely in love with it? How much do you forget about everything else?
Bro, you think you're on top of the world. You're like,
it's the best, right?
This is it. You're like, this is it. man, at the end, it's about the music, man.
Yeah.
At the end, it's about the music, man. You know, no matter, I know social media is an important thing now. Else, you know, at the end, bro, the music, you know, and when you enjoy, and by the way, like I stopped drinking for a couple of months now.
Congrats.
And like people were, thank you. And people were like, yo, man, how you gonna do this? Because I used to drink, you know. I used to love drinking.
Yeah.
You know, I used to be in a party. I love to party, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and people were like, what? You gonna stop drinking? I'm like, bro, I don't. Like, are you gonna enjoy it? I'm like, yeah, of course. And just I had an epiphany again because I was like, I was there, like, and I think I went to this party and the music was like so. I was kind of vibing, and then the next DJ came in and like, bro, my energy just went from 0 to 100. I was like, wow, this is dope.
Yeah.
I enjoy this thing, and I was like, man, this is it. It's all about the music. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The music. That's it. That's all I need. You know, that's all I need.
It sounds cliche as fuck, but I think that's why I kind of asked that question about when you're in the studio and you're writing something and it kind of really works, because that is, for me, the reason why 90% of us all do what we do, and it's to create it. For me, it's not even the playing of the music. It's not even the releasing of the music. It's once you've made that record, like, it's just like you're just it's the best feeling.
Yes, of course, bro. It's like a baby or something, you know?
I love your mate in the background trying to get out of the camera by crawling.
Good luck, Phil. We just got you.
You know? Yeah, it's this really special thing, and we're really lucky that we get to do this every day in our lives. We're so lucky, man. Why did you stop drinking?
Good question. Okay, so I mean, I think at some point I was just partying too much, you know. Yeah. Like I was having too much fun, you know, and I had to face it and be like, okay, bro, like, do you want to go for the next level, or you want to be stuck here having a good time and just enjoying it, you know? And I just had to, you know. So again, the way my brain works is that when I see something, I work with numbers. I'm really good with numbers. Yeah. When I see something in front of me, I'm like, okay, this is where I'm trying to go.
Yeah.
Okay. But then this drinking thing is bringing me here.
Yeah.
Because then, you know, I'm getting sloppy. I'm getting this. Like, I'm not sleeping well. I'm not feeling my best. And I'm like, okay, guess what? What's the factor that I can take off to continue my trajectory? Alcohol. All right. So I was like, I'm going to stop the alcohol thing, because at the end of the day, I don't think alcohol is a problem. I think it's about the management of alcohol.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can drink, but then it's all about knowing how to manage it. You can do whatever you want to do. It's all about managing it the right way when you are dealing with it.
Well, and also to cut into that and go on an even more like self-analyst way. It's not even about the alcohol is nothing. It's how do you deal with it? It's not about It's not about the management of it. It's about how do you deal with it?
Because everybody has different reactions with things.
Yeah.
Right. Some people are like, you know, but then, so personally, I just decided, I was like, you know, it's not like I stopped drinking forever. I was like, I think it's been 2 months now. I stopped drinking, and I'm going to stop drinking until September. Like I'm gonna be dry until September.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna have my first drink at Burning Man. Come on, bro. I'm not going to the Burn Summer. But then later on, like I want to take that time and reflect to see, okay, do I actually really still want to drink? Maybe I'll continue. Maybe I won't continue. But then there's gonna be a better there's like a clear mind
Yeah.
that I'm going to use to make that decision, and also see, okay, when I drink, how much do I really want to drink? When do I want to drink? And how do I want to deal with it? Because since it's the only thing I'm doing anyway. So, yeah. So
I love the analytical side of you. I can massively relate to it, and it's scary, man. I don't drink as well, and it's been
really?
yeah, and it's been a huge factor for
Is it?
For me. Whereas
Tell me more. I want to hear about this.
It's weird. I haven't drunk for a very long time. I haven't drunk for 11 years. So
no way.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've actually I'm trying to think about it, and I think I've only been drunk maybe once or twice whilst DJing. I've never.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. But the reason why I don't drink is because I just don't. I'm a massive control freak, so I hate being out of control of myself. I hate that feeling. It's the worst. It's why I don't do drugs, and that's why I don't drink. And I just don't like the taste of it. I don't like alcohol, anything like that. But I truly think it has helped me in a way where I just get more shit done. I've got so many friends that, and I'm sure you do as well, get absolutely, they party Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they have to travel home, get home Sunday, Monday, Tuesday is an absolute write-off. Wednesday, get back to work. Thursday, you have a day to get ready to go, and then you're back touring again. And for me, it's like, I'm like, Thursday, Friday, Saturday tour, Sunday get home, Monday morning gym first thing, back to work Monday until Thursday. And I'm very routinely on how I work. And I think for me, like drinking and taking drugs is helped me. By not doing that, it's massively helped my productivity.
So that's the thing. The thing is that it's like, I don't do drugs. I've never done drugs.
Yeah.
So drinking was kind of like my thing, right?
Yeah.
So that alone already kind of helped me, because it's like, I feel like with drinking, I could, like, I had a really high tolerance, right? And I could manage it for a while, but then when you mix 280 shows for the year, all the flights, dude, it adds up. You're getting tired. You don't have the same stamina as usual, so you're like, oh yeah, I can drink, but then, dude, you haven't slept properly for 2 months.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's true. You know what I'm saying? So that hits you differently. And you keep accumulating stress, not sleeping. And that's why I was like, yo, I have to make a decision at this point, because I don't think I don't have an unhealthy relationship with alcohol. I think it's more the fact that I can allow myself to put myself in situations where I don't have control, 100% control, to be able to save myself from things at times.
Totally agree. And I think there's also a level of accountability that we all have to take, especially as guys in this industry. It's very easy. Like, you drink, you meet girls, you meet guys, whatever you're into, but like, you can put yourself into really interesting situations that you wouldn't ever put yourself into when you are sober, if you're a reasonable person. And that's not saying that when you're drunk you're not a reasonable person, but these things happen, right? And we can put ourselves into situations that you wake up and go, fuck me, that was a dangerous time. We should not, that would not have happened if we were sober. And I think I say this as a joke, but it's so true as well. I say this at nearly every week. We are a tweet away from being cancelled. We are so close to like just everything just gone.
Oh yeah.
And
bro. Trust me, bro.
Also, like, one thing in this industry, one thing happens, everyone drops you. Everyone drops you.
And it goes really quick, bro. Everyone is talking.
Gone.
You know what I'm saying? So, just Yeah, man. So that's uh that's that was kind of like my whole idea behind it, to just, like I because again, I enjoy partying,
Of course. Yeah.
and I think also, like, obviously, the thing is, once, like, especially once you start touring so much, at least like once I started touring so much, I think it just became part of my routine,
Yeah.
Oh, you have the rider, like that, and
Yeah.
then it's like, and it just became kind of a thing, and but then I just felt like I would push it a little bit more, I would push it a bit more,
Yeah.
push it a bit more, and then it kind of like that rock star, like, let's go, whatever. And then at some point I was like, yo, man, this is, dude, like, I'm running a full-time label. There's all
Of
this,
course.
all this stuff I want to do. Like, and I want to see my family. I want to do all
Yeah.
this. It's like, okay, great. I love to be on the road and have a good time, but it's like that's not where I'm limiting myself at. So, yeah. So I had to just make a decision, and this is usually me. I'm very extreme into like what I
Yeah.
do. So yeah, I was like, okay, guys, I'm done with this. And like, what? I said, yeah. Are you sure? I said, so yeah, it's been
No, I respect it.
yeah.
I respect it a lot, man. I really do. Going back to before, when somebody told you that you need a therapist, did you actually get a therapist?
No, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And she's right. She's right, man. You see, like, you have to realize, man. That's what I say. It's especially for me. Because I don't know you personally,
Yeah.
and I don't know how people that know you around you perceive you,
Of course.
perceived you
Yeah.
before,
Yeah. Yeah.
and how they perceive you now. But I can tell you that, like, with lack of sleep, um, frustration, as you say, you're going at things, you want things to be a certain
Yeah.
way, and like, you're doing things here, and then, but it's like it's a lot of things going on. You're on the road consistently. You deal with family stuff, blah, 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 but then you're never letting it out.
Yeah.
You're never letting it out, and I just realized how, like, someone the other day told me something too again, and that person was like, "Yo, you were talking, and when you were done, I was about to answer you,
Yeah.
but you just walked away as if you didn't need an answer."
Yeah.
And that's when I realized, I was like, "You just wanted to be listened
Yeah.
to," and I was like, "Damn!" I didn't even realize. I was like, "Wow!" And that person was like, "Yo, you should talk to someone because you don't want to put that weight on anybody else around you, right? Like, you want to,
Yeah.
So honestly, also, like, bro, in my culture in Africa, in Benin, you say you're talking to therapists, people look at you like you're crazy or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not like it's not a normal thing to do, But like, I spoke to my mom, and like, she's like, "Yeah, I'll do it," like, and I know I'm gonna do it. It's the same thing. You take care of your body. You
Yeah.
take care of. It's the same thing. We also, by the way, I think music is also the same thing. Like, music is something that's why I tell people, I'm like, be careful what you consume, and detoxing and doing all the stuff, like, whichever way is critical. Like, I definitely know that, yeah, I need to, you know, go through it. I've never spoken to a therapist before.
Yeah.
But I think it's definitely going to help.
Yeah, man. I think it's something that everyone at some point in their life should experience.
Have
And
you done it before?
so I'm in a bit of a different situation. I have done it before. I'm in a bit of a different situation. My parents are both therapists, and they own like a drug and alcohol rehab. So I used to work there, and when you work in therapy or in any situation where you're dealing with caring for others, you should technically have something is called supervision, which is like therapy, but it's more so
Yeah.
work-based therapy. But because I was there when I was working there, I didn't care about working at a rehab. I was just kind of
Yeah.
doing ends meet. Mum and
Sure.
dad helped me out,
Yeah.
really. So like
Yeah.
the supervision I had with another therapist there was more so therapy. And it was during that time of my career, my life, where it was really working out what's next and how do I get to that next level, and kind of dealing with the stuff in past. And I'm also really lucky that like I have this really strong relationship with my mum, that like she can kind of, it may sound unhealthy to some people, but she can play the therapy role to a certain extent, which she's not a therapist to me, she's my mum, but I talk to her very openly about certain things. And I probably would like to have a therapist again in future, and just to try it and just to see what it is. But I've been really fortunate, kind of being able to experience it. And like my growing up, I remember, this is hilarious. We were all sat at the dinner table, and when we were growing up as a childhood, like my mum we'd all sit down and eat dinner every night together, and we would sit down and talk about how we felt, and like talk about like all of the issues that we had going on. And my brother once turned around and said, "Why can't you just hit us like any other parent and not make us talk about our feelings?" And it was just looking back at it, it was, it sucked talking about your feelings. It was awful. Like, no one wants to talk about their feelings. No one wants to talk about their feelings when you're an adult, let alone when you're a kid. And but I look at that, and it helped me massively in my childhood and growing up now, and to where I'm at in my career and in my personal life as well.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. I mean, for me, funny enough, I never spoken to a therapist, but like I'm a guy that it's like I grew up with a lot of friends.
Yeah.
You know, like, and it was always very conversational.
Yeah.
You know, just exchange of ideas. I've always kind of like also liked to have people that I look up to around me tell me stuff, and me also telling them stuff. So obviously I know it's not therapy, but it's like, like, because I know people that are just keeping everything inside all the time. You know, it's like they don't talk to any friends, they don't talk to anybody, they don't talk to, they don't share anything. Like if you know something about me, I'm a highly emotional human being. And by the way, I have the best relationship with my mom. My mom is like my best friend.
Yeah.
And we talk about everything. She knows everything about me. And just starting there, but like also like going to like every single friends that I have and how I communicate with people. It's like I'm like blank canvas. Like I'm happy, yay! But then if something is not going, I'll be like, yo, let's sit down, we gotta talk. We gotta talk again.
Which is so important. It's
like
so important, man. I think, and
it's like, dude,
I think it's, especially in this industry, when we're traveling by ourselves and we don't see people, and it's like, I get asked, and I'm sure you can relate, it's like, how do you build relationships, and how do you keep relationships strong? And I think that is the thing, is communication. It's just key.
I think communication, man, honestly, I mean, you tell me, but for someone that used to be like a highly extrovert human being, right, making friends with everybody and nobody and all the time, everywhere, like I just realized at some point that like it was factually impossible for me to maintain all the relationship that I built until that point of time where I started to just move around all the time, because just don't have the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No matter how much I wanted, like you're on a roll, you're dealing with you get 5 text messages. Oh, I'll text you later. 1 week later, I text you, like what happened? And it's like consistent, keeps building. So it's like only the people that actually want to understand you, that have a little bit more tolerance and empathy, stick around, friends, partners, whatever, family members, whatsoever. So like for me, it's been challenging, bro. It's been really challenging to like to keep relationships, because I used to be, again, I think I used to be this guy that was like making so many friends everywhere, like being there for everybody. Oh, everybody wants to hang out. Yeah. AMÉMÉ's going to put everything together. Hubert's going to put everything together. Like I was always kind of like serving people, you know, I love that. I used to be a people pleaser. And then out of nowhere, I just didn't have enough time, you know?
Yeah.
So at the beginning, it was hard, right? Because then a lot of friends were like, you know, just really coming at me like, hey, what's up? Like, come on, bro. Like, you know, I'm like, guys, sorry. Like, I'm literally like this.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't spoken to my mom in a week.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, so, but the real one, stick around. That's the one thing I learned. You know, you don't even have to like do much, and the real one understand and they stick around. And at some point, you're left with whatever you need. And you know, I mean, at least I'm grateful and I'm happy right now. And yeah, but at the beginning it was not easy for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely it's definitely a tough. It's not. It is tough because but I think the thing for me that I've realized is that everyone just gets on with their life. And it's very easy for us to like, we travel around the world, we do this, we do that, and then we go, like for me it's like I go back to like my home village, everything just carries on without you, and it's such a grounding experience because it's nice to see people that you were very close friends with or just friends with, and they just got on with their lives. And it's like, it's really, it's so nice to see, but you're so right to that the real ones stick around, and the people that actually just understand and have a connection, and there's no hidden agendas in those relationships. When those people, you know, when there's hidden agendas in those relationships, and I think it's definitely, it's life, man. It's beautiful.
Yeah, man.
It's beautiful.
And you said it. Yeah, it's like, I mean, life definitely goes on. You know, like, you know, you miss birthdays, weddings, dinner, like, you know, like, and
funerals.
and
that's the hard one.
Yeah, funeral. Yeah, yeah. You
one,
know,
man.
and just like life keep going on. You know, so at the end, it's a matter of choice, and you have to be able to live with it. You know.
Yeah, and I think it's also, it's like being honest to people when you meet people. I don't know if you ever experienced this, but like when you meet somebody that like potentially is like a partner, going to be a partner in your life or something like that, and then actually realizing that, you know what, it's probably better if not, because you're just going to actually fuck it up even more and ruin something really special that could it's weird. It's weird when we're not anywhere. Like even for you, like you're living in Berlin right now, you still live in New York at the same time. Like you can't build relationships.
I mean, I'm trying, bro.
Yeah, it's hard though, right?
I man,
so
bro,
hard.
this is the hardest thing. It's the hardest thing in the world, man. But I'm, you know, hey, I'm trying. You can only try. That's I always say this. You can only try. You know, if I try something, it doesn't work out, I know I tried.
Try.
You know what I'm saying?
The thing that I've learned over the year is try and be completely 100% honest the whole way through the journey.
Yeah. Honesty is key, bro.
Just keep going.
You know,
I wanted to,
honesty.
I want to talk about pre-New York and when you were in Africa. I want to talk about your childhood a little bit. I want to get to know you. I want people to get to know you.
That's 17 years of my life.
Exactly.
It's a long time.
So tell me about it.
I was born in Benin.
Yeah.
So Benin is a very small. So Benin is a very, very small country in West Africa.
Okay.
In between Nigeria, which a lot of people know Nigeria, and Togo. And then you have like Ghana. There's, you know, not too far from it. Senegal. So all within the West African coast. We have the Atlantic Ocean.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at the south.
Yeah.
So, you know, we do have like water and, you know, all the stuff. So it's a very small country. It used to be a French colony. I was born there. My mom is from Nigeria. I went to school there.
Do you speak
I was
French?
lucky I do. Actually, French is my first language.
It is, yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I do speak French, and I speak 3 other African dialects. Because my mom is from Nigeria, so I speak Yoruba because she's from the Yoruba clan.
Yeah.
My dad is from Benin. He's from the Fon clan, which is like one of the biggest clans there.
Yeah.
So I speak Fon. And my grandmother is from Togo, and she's from the Ewe tribe, and I speak Ewe as well, right? Wow. So I speak 3 other very different dialects. So growing up, honestly, I was lucky enough that, my dad was like very educated.
Yeah.
And my mom was self-starter. She had her own business. She was doing her own thing, and my parents really pushed us all to go for our educations, but at the same time go for things that we really wanted to do, that we enjoyed. So like academics and grades were like critical, right? So I had to be like, dude, throughout my whole high school, I could not bring lower than like being top 5 of my class, because that's where I started. And my dad was like, okay, you can't bring lower than this. And my dad is like, dude, like my dad used to be this typical African dad, like, man, you're gonna get it, if you don't deliver,
Yeah.
So it's funny. So I like when I think about how I grew up with my dad, like I always had like that ultimate respect for this being.
Yeah.
That was, that at time came to me and allowed me to laugh. But then there was always that ultimate respect.
Yeah.
Like in Africa, it's everything. Like when I came to America and I see kids talk to their parents, I'm like, oh my God, he's about to die. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
You don't have that. You know what I'm saying? So, dude, in Africa, you call so I go to America and I'm like, I see the kids like, they call the police to their parents. I'm like, yo, you did this in Benin, the police is gonna come and help your dad kick your ass. They'd be like, yo, let us know when you need us to come back and take care of this little child that doesn't want to listen up.
I love that.
So yeah, man, it's very strict dad. But my mom was kind of like, she was always trying to give us the other balance, right?
Yeah.
Like she would always like, because my dad was very strict about us going to bed at like 9 p.m. And then, like during the weekends, like on Fridays sometime, like, when my dad would go to bed, my mom would come, come. And like, she hang out with us, like my dad was very strict with like, how do you call it? Pocket money.
Yeah.
My mom would always kind of give us a little extra when we go to school. Hey, don't tell your dad. There you go. So honestly, when I look back at it, that also kind of forged the person I am today.
Of course.
Because, man, I'm so strict and regimented with certain things. And at the same time, I have that flow. Yeah. And I think that comes from my mom, that flow, the music side, like just knowing to enjoy, like having fun, buying like maybe something expensive, or something that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
And then like on the other side, I have like my dad that comes in like, regiment, let's go. You got to save money. You got to do all these things, And it's like, bro, it's on both sides. Yeah, man. So got into high school. The one thing is in Benin, like in most of the francophone, like African, francophone Africa, francophone African countries, the last 3 years of your high school, you need to specialize or something.
Okay.
You need to. So I moved into a biology, chemistry, and math program, like intensive program, because I wanted to become a doctor. Yeah. So because my dad was like, okay, you're gonna be a doctor, you're gonna be this, you're gonna be that. And I'm like, okay, yeah, dad, I'm gonna be a doctor, and I was good at it, I was good at it. But I was always into music, since I was in primary school, I was doing like, musical theater at school.
Yeah.
Like I remember like when we would do like because I come from a big family. My father had 14 siblings.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. So like imagine the Christmas, like the kids, everybody's going around, we would play, we would do like sketches.
Yeah.
And I will always be one of the kids that, guys, I want to perform, playing drums. I was in I was in a rap band with my brother when I was in high school. So I was always drawn to music, you know, like always. I was making mixtapes with my brother and we would sell them in schools. You know, like, you know, we would compete and see who would do the better transitions on the cassettes. That was back then on the cassettes. And my dad was like, yo, if I could find someone touching my radio, that person is dead. My brother and I, bro, we will wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning and make sure that like close the door and like, oh, he's like, okay, dude, you have an hour, just record your stuff. And I'll record, and then he's like, okay, yeah, you have an hour, I'm gonna watch that now, and I'll record, and then that's how we do it.
Amazing.
You know, because it would take us maybe like 20-minute drive to go to school.
Yeah.
So we that's when we would like, okay, let's see who has a better mix today. And then okay, we play my mix to go and we play your mix to come back. So it was always kind of like something kind of like, it was since then I could already see, oh, that's the whole music selection thing. Totally. Kind of like it already started. And then I moved to New York.
Why did you move to New York?
When I was 7. So I moved again, lucky enough that my parents really valued education, and they were like, they gave us the option to either go to France or New York to continue the education. So I was not a big fan of Paris anyway, in France. No. And okay, sorry, all the French people are gonna be like, oh, this guy is like, it's done.
You picked the right one. New York's so much better.
Nobody's showing up to my show in Paris next week. Okay. And then I moved to New York, and I was like, man, I mean, I've been to New York already before because my aunt was living there.
Yeah.
So I went there like 2 or 3 times already. And yeah, so I moved to New York to get into like a pre-med program. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get my bachelor and then get into a medical school. Bro, the first 2 years, man, I was partying so much. I was like, bro, like, I don't know how I'm going to do this thing, you know? And then I called my mom one day, like, yo, listen, man, I don't know about this doctor thing, huh? Like, and she's like, what do you want to do? I'm like, man, I don't know, banker. Like, you know, banker is easier. You know, I'm wearing my suits. I'm going to the office. I make some money. I can still party in the weekend. That's cool. And she's like, oh my God. And then that's what I did.
New York got you. New York got you so hard.
I shifted into a banking program, and that's what I did. And Abdul, I worked in banking for 7 years.
No way.
Yeah, in New York, man. But then that's the thing. And I was already DJing, so I was working during the week, and then I was DJing during the weekends, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
What were you doing in banking?
So I worked in commercial banking for Capital One.
Okay.
And I did private banking. It's like they're like a CPC client for JP Morgan Chase. So yeah, man. So when I look back at it, and man, I still remember, I remember when I was going through the interview for Capital One, and I told my boss I'm a DJ, and his eyes were like, oh, I'm sure this guy was like, oh, I can party with this guy, man. Okay, let me just hire him and fucking and do this. But anyway, man, yeah, got there, lost my job, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go for DJing full time.
Yeah,
and that's how
we are.
Huh?
That's how we are today.
Yeah, bro.
Love it, man. Love it. When did the label start?
Yeah, the label started because, again, after starting my parties hours of years, I moved to Berlin because my ex-girlfriend, German, she wanted to move back to Berlin.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, let's do it. So I get here, you know, get in the studio, classes, training. Man, I'm like 1 year, 2 years, and I have like a good amount of songs. I'm like, guys, it's time to release the songs. I started sending it out to everybody. Nobody would sign tracks. 6 months. I'm like, yo, you know what? I love it, but I'm not waiting for anybody. Yeah. So this is exactly what I did. Call a couple of friends. I'm like, yo, guys, we about to start one track music. Who wants to help? And then they were like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do this. And then, dude, it was just like me in Berlin, in my kitchen at midnight when my ex-girlfriend was sleeping, and calling my friends in New York. And it was 6 p.m. when they were getting out of work. I'm like, okay, guys, you have the list. Who did you email today? Like, it was like, bro, we did everything, man. It was just 3 of us, and we were going at it. And yeah, like we're like, okay, premieres. Let's reach out. Okay, what do we need? We need premieres. We need a YouTube. a channel that's gonna support us. We need a SoundCloud channel that's gonna support us. We need a, like, you know, an email listing for all the promos.
Yeah.
We need a graphic designer. We used our mind and just like created a plan for this thing. And yeah, first track, top 10 of Afro House, supported by Black Coffee. I was like, wow, okay, I don't even know how he got the track. All right, amen, hallelujah, let's do it. I'll take it, you know? And that was just kind of, so I think honestly, a lot of the things that I did just came from the necessity that, like, I'm like, yo, like, I'm trying to do something, and I don't have the access, so let me just start my own thing. And funny enough, after my first track hit, all these labels that I was reaching out to, like, hey bro, when are you gonna send me a track? I'm like, no, this is the funniest part. And when are you gonna send me a track? I'm like, yeah, what type of track? You're like, I want a track like this one. I'm like, oh really? Check your mailbox. I sent it to you 6 months ago. You know, is that, oh, I want the same track that you, kind of the vibe that you released on Watergate. I'm like, yeah, but bro, you're the first guy that I sent to like 8 months ago.
It's always
and it's like, oh really? Yeah. So it's like, man, it's at the end of the day, what I realize is that, like, people just sometimes just follow, like, people like the hype, right? Nobody necessarily wants to take the first jump. So believe in yourself, man. Like, if you want to do something, just do it. Like,
I agree.
You know,
I agree. And also,
not necessarily like.
Go on, carry on.
Sorry, go ahead. No, but I just say, like, it's like, you know, I that's why I don't let people, like, if I send a track to a label and they're like, oh shit song or whatever, like, I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah.
I keep moving in my life. I'm like, no, you know what I'm saying? So, and that's why, like, I'm happy now that, like, I have my own label and I have a really good team, and I can
do it
without anybody's necessarily opinion. I could run things the way I want to run it, because, bro, it's very subjective.
Yeah,
you know,
course.
Music is very subjective.
Yeah.
What you might think might not be the greatest stuff might be like a hit tomorrow.
Yeah.
And vice versa. So, you know, that's I never like to comment on people's, like, you know, like, I always try to deal with things with, like, an open mind.
Yeah.
But
yeah. No, I totally agree. I think it's really important as well, because people like to jump on a hype because it's a music business, and people forget about that, is that the hype also isn't about necessarily what they love. It's because they see money signs and they need somebody else. They need somebody else to kind of boot it off for them. But there's also a level with a label, is that there's just so much ownership to you. You own everything you do, which for a lot of people that doesn't happen in the music industry, and it's so important. So important, especially nowadays when you still need the associations with certain labels to build a career to start with. But realistically, like, the way music is released nowadays, labels don't really matter as much as they used to.
Listen, for me, at the end of the day, again, just like you said, I try to keep it a balanced approach.
Yeah.
I still want to release with other label. I still need to release with other label, because to keep, like, you know how it is.
Yeah.
But I'm slowly pushing my own narrative as well. And yeah.
Yeah, man. I love it. Dude, we've just done an hour and 15 minutes. We should probably wrap this up.
Yeah, man.
But thank you.
No.
Thank
you. Yo, man, I really enjoyed this, man. Like, listen, I hope that next time when we are somewhere, let's catch dinner or something.
Dude, I'd love to.
I actually want to meet up and, like, have more talk with you. And
yeah, I'd love to, man.
You know, pick your brain up on a couple of things. You know,
I'd absolutely love to keep in touch. And thank you so much for being on. How do people follow you? How do people get involved with the AMÉMÉ crew and the One Tribe crew and all of that?
I mean, what do you mean, on the consumer level, or
on
like
social media? How do people send you music?
Yeah, I mean, listen, my name is AMÉMÉ, and my DJ's Instagram is AMÉMÉ DJ. So it's like AMEME DJ, and my label is One Tribe, and the Instagram is One Tribe NYC. So all spelled out ONETRIBE NYC.
Cool.
So you know, we're here for all of you guys. One love. Listen, we're Clarke, bro. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for
Thank you so much, man. Keep
making
safe.
time.
Have a great summer, and
accommodate
I'll
me.
see you soon. Big love to AMÉMÉ for coming on. Thanks to everybody listening. Please share. Please give us a review. Please do all the stuff that we ask, or I ask every week. Thank you for listening. Keep safe. See you next time.